went back in time to kill the evil from the future. In the realm of heroic legend of Arhan, a game of epic proportions, Corinlock found himself waking up in the virtual world, questioning the blurred lines between reality and the game he once played. 3 years prior, he had possessed a game character in this expansive universe filled with dangerous events and endless incidents centered around an academy, even escalating to the brink of the world's end. Yet, Corinlock reassured himself. The main character of the story, Park Sihu, would inevitably resolve all conflicts, and Corinlock was just an extra NPC, a non-player character whose purpose was to be saved by the main character. However, the boundaries between game and reality started to blur further when Corinlock observed Park Sihu, the virtual character, who was destined for fame and fortune. To his surprise, Corinlock discovered that Park Sihu, like himself, was a person possessing a game character. The difference lay in the privilege given to player characters, manifested in a stat window. Corinlock, a seasoned player of the game, befriended Park Sihu, offering valuable insights and guidance. Despite Park Sihu never having played the game before, Corinlock shared his extensive knowledge, advising him on the best stats and cautioning about important items in the upcoming story. As the duo embarked on their journey, they encountered a giant dog, and with their combined knowledge and stats, they formed a formidable team with the potential to save the virtual world and return to reality. However, Corinlock's disappointment surfaced when he realized that the game featured only male characters, missing the diverse heroines and dating simulator elements that made the game charming. The turning point came when Corinlock began to notice deviations from the game's original story, the disappearance of the Sword Emperor's granddaughter, Marette, and other mysterious incidents. Park Sihu's peculiar personality and thought process raised suspicions, and Corinlock couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. One night, Corinlock followed Park Sihu and stumbled upon an underground hideout filled with the belongings of missing characters, including Marette Dunaleff. Shockingly, he discovered Mariette's lifeless body in a tank. Confronting Park Sihu, Corinlock learned the horrifying truth, that Park Sihu had been manipulating the game to efficiently progress through the story, even resorting to murder. In a heated confrontation, Park Sihu revealed his sociopathic tendencies, claiming that he had killed numerous characters for his gain. Corinlock, repulsed by his actions, confronted Park Sihu, only to be met with violence. Park Sihu declared his twisted love for Corinlock, shattering the illusion of their camaraderie. As Corinlock entered the final stage with the intention of stopping Park Sihu, an unexpected twist occurred. Park Sihu, who had been the player, failed to defeat the final boss, resulting in a game over. Corinlock woke up once again, realizing the gravity of the situation. He needed to kill Park Sihu, not as a character in the game, but as a player controlling a dangerous avatar. The cycle repeated, and Corinlock was faced with the daunting task of ending the madness within the confines of the virtual world. In the aftermath of the Rotion River flooding incident, during the water monster subjugation quest, tragedy struck as the dam broke, sweeping away an entire village along with 1,000 water monsters and thousands of innocent lives. Amidst the horrific scene, Park Sihu, at the time Corinlock, found himself snickering inexplicably. It wasn't the loss of lives that bothered him, but the opportunity to monopolize experience points. Corinlock recalled Park Sihu's disturbing claim from his past life, only 3 more kills, and he would reach the sinister milestone of 100,000 deaths. With the factors that strengthen players concentrated at Merkaba Academy, Corinlock realized he had to act before Park Sihu entered the academy, becoming stronger and more elusive. A tutorial quest presented itself. The carriage en route to Merkaba City broke down in a monster-infested forest. The task was clear: protect the people and security guards until the carriage was fixed. Corinlock knew this was his chance to eliminate Park Sihu, currently ranked 5. As the group navigated the perilous forest, Leon and Laura, fellow players, were engaged in combat to level up. However, the situation took a dark turn when a massive log was thrown at them. Leon sacrificed himself to save Laura from a werewolf attack, setting the stage for a tragic confrontation. Observing from a distance, Corinlock realized the inevitable had begun. Laura suffered a brutal blow, and Leon urged Park Sihu to retreat to the carriage while he faced the werewolf alone. Park Sihu hesitated, torn between fear and duty. Corinlock, contemplating Park Sihu's true nature, pondered whether he was the hero destined to save the world or a possessed player like himself. Park Si-hoo, however, seized the opportunity to attack Alicia Arden, a known character in the game and part of the powerful Arden family. As Park Si-hoo attempted to poison Alicia, Corinlock, from a distance, confirmed Park Si-hoo's malicious intent. Despite Alicia's skillful defense, the werewolf managed to bite her. In the chaos that ensued, Park Si-hoo took advantage of the situation, killed Alicia, and acquired her powerful Odachi. The shocking revelation that Park Si-hoo could poison characters added another layer to the sinister game he was playing. While Park Si-hoo faced a horde of angry horn rats, Corinlock seized the opportunity to gather the spoils of battle, including the unconscious body of Alicia. As Park Si-hoo struggled with the forest monsters, Corinlock's gaze turned to him, harboring a deadly glare. The confrontation between the two players was inevitable, and the forest echoed with the tension of impending conflict. In the aftermath of the fierce battle, Park Si-hoo confronted Corinlock, questioning his unexpected presence. Swiftly thinking on his feet, Corinlock fabricated a reason, claiming he needed to correct Park Si-hoo's grip on the Odachi. In a moment of distraction, Corinlock threw sand into Park Si-hoo's face, initiating a confrontation that would decide the fate of the virtual world. The two clashed violently in the forest, with Corinlock attempting to exploit any opening. Dodging Park Si-hoo's swift sword slashes, Corinlock wielded the werewolf fang, managing to land a blow on Park Si-hoo's shoulder. Pinned to the ground, Park Si-hoo struggled against Corinlock's relentless assault. Corinlock aimed to strike Park Si-hoo's neck with the werewolf fang, and despite Park Si-hoo's attempts to block, Corinlock succeeded. In his final moments, Park Si-hoo thanked Corinlock for the opportunity to become stronger in his next life. A notification confirmed Park Si-hoo's demise, and Corinlock absorbed his stats, becoming the successor of the martial masters and a sub-player. Alicia Arden, injured during the earlier battle, groaned in pain. Corinlock turned his attention to her, attempting to comfort and assess her condition. Recognizing the signs of poison, he identified it as peacock tree frog venom. Corinlock, using his belt as a tourniquet, did his best to stop Alicia's bleeding. In a desperate attempt to save her, he even utilized Park Si-hoo's arm as something for her to bite on, showing a surprising level of care. Corinlock pulled the werewolf fangs from Alicia's stomach, contemplating the mysterious turn of events that allowed him to save a life that had been lost in his previous existence. As Alicia rested, Corinlock prepared an antidote for her, reflecting on the game's narrative. In this altered storyline, he would now take on the role of the sub-player, finishing the game with pure memory from his previous life. Realizing that he couldn't rely on regular player system benefits, Corinlock turned to a skill from his past, a magic system involving runes. Inscribing 3 powerful runes onto his body, duty, restraint, and oath, Corinlock accepted the weight of self-imposed promises. Duty would boost his stats when he helped those in need, restraint would protect him from astral beings, and oath, carrying the greatest risk, tied his fate to the overarching goal of saving the world. With the commandments etched into his being, Corinlock embarked on his journey as the sub-player, aware that failure to uphold his oath would result in inevitable death. The weight of this burden would shape his path in the virtual world, steering him towards a destiny intertwined with the fate of Merkaba Academy and the entire game universe. Alicia Arden awoke in a hospital bed, her senses gradually returning. The nurse attending to her in the Merkaba City Emergency Hospital informed her of her location and mentioned that her savior, Corinlock, had recently left. Inquiring about her belongings, Alicia found them nearby. Curious about acquiring honey bomb candy, she was told by the nurse that she could only have stew for the time being. Meanwhile, the day of the Merkaba Academy entrance ceremony had arrived for Corinlock. Searching for his student ID, he discovered a letter from his mother expressing pride in him, an evident difference between Corinlock and Park Si-hoo. As the academy welcomed a multitude of students, Corinlock was approached by a girl offering him a potato. Marette Dunaleff then took charge of guiding them through the academy. As life unfolded in this unpredictable world, Corinlock contemplated the misfortunes and tragedies that would befall Marette Dunaleff in the future. In his previous life, she was the final boss of the game's first act. The students experienced the magical expansion of space as they arrived at Merkaba Academy. Recognizing the voice of Old Man Heyman, the academy's caretaker, Corinlock acknowledged the familiar patter akin to a boot camp. Professor Fermac Darman, in charge of the new students, greeted them in the welcome ceremony. Corinlock observed his own stats and found them lacking, leading to a momentary sense of boredom. Fermac explained the significance of stats and wished the students luck in their battles. During the introduction, Fermac pointed out notable students, including Alicia Arden, a second-rank student and the granddaughter of a sword genius. The professor then assessed the students, noting the presence of promising talent among them. As the director emphasized the path of learning, a simple test was initiated. Each student was given a weapon case and had 30 seconds to prepare before monsters swarmed their location. Corinlock, recalling his past experiences, reflected on the importance of choosing the right weapon. When 3 5th-rank hound monsters appeared, Corinlock effortlessly threw a spear, instantly dispatching one of the creatures. Drawing upon his previous life's experience, Corinlock demonstrated his proficiency in monster combat. Corinlock swiftly dispatched the 5th-rank hound monsters in just 12 seconds, a remarkable feat considering his previous inability to defeat them in his past life. Determined to excel this time, Corinlock pledged to conquer all challenges until the next rank. As the clock ticked past the 5-minute mark in the second round, no monsters spawned. Corinlock suspected a glitch in the system. To his horror, other players were being attacked by the hounds in their respective tests. Observing Corinlock, Professor Fermac Darman thought the system was malfunctioning as the monsters failed to appear in his room. Another batch of hounds suddenly materialized, surprising Corinlock. He realized the system had glitched, and the next stage failed to initiate. The professors, deeming Corinlock as lethargy pathetic, considered the possibility of a malfunction in his summoning room. Fermac instructed Madame Josephine's magic to investigate. Perplexed by the anomaly, the professors questioned the summoned monsters in Corinlock's room, suspecting a bug. Attempting to summon hounds again, they witnessed Corinlock's frustration as another batch materialized. In a burst of anger, Corinlock annihilated the dogs in a record-breaking 7.3 seconds, shocking the professors. Concerned, they consulted Fermac, who explained the fastest times for 3rd and 4th ranks. When asked why, the professors summoned a 4th-rank map boar, testing Corinlock's spear skills. He swiftly defeated it in 3.7 seconds. Another challenge came, an owl bear, a 3rd-rank monster. Corinlock engaged in combat, revealing his mastery of rune magic and swiftly defeating the creature. The professors realized Corinlock was no ordinary 6th-rank student but a unique and skilled individual. Proceeding to the 5th-rank evil spirit test, Corinlock sensed the summoned's presence but couldn't interfere due to the restraint penalty. Opting to withdraw, he joined the gathering of students discussing their ranks. Spotting Jaeger Hinch Peter, Corinlock remembered his fate in his past life at the hands of Park Sihu. Observing Lark, who suffered a similar fate, Corinlock recognized his past inferiority complex. Director Eryu Kazar addressed the crowd, emphasizing the Academy's role in shaping them into formidable individuals. Amidst the chatter, Jaeger inquired about Corinlock's rank, but Corinlock intervened, distracting him with compliments about his tattoo. Alicia Arden observed Corinlock's actions, impressed by his kindness in naturally preventing Lark from being bullied. Alicia found Corinlock intriguing and wondered about the person behind that captivating smile. At Merkaba Academy, students enjoyed a myriad of facilities provided free of charge. The student cafeterias offered affordable meals, and the dorms were not only comfortable but also cost-free. Among the various facilities, the training room stood out as the most recommended. These rooms held a special significance for Corin, as they allowed for seemingly impossible training scenarios. Inside the training room, Corin discovered the ability to train with spirit bodies that were otherwise invisible to him. This was a skill usually taught in the 2nd semester, but Corin, also known as Corinlock, managed to practice it early on. The intense training caught the attention of both his peers and instructors. During one session, Mariette Dunaleff observed as Corinlock fought a spirit body. Curiosity led an instructor to approach Corin, questioning his choice of training with a spirit body. Corinlock explained that it was to enhance his spear skills. The unexpected encounter left Corin wondering if he had done something wrong during the entrance exam. To his surprise, the instructor commended him, recognizing his exceptional spirit, and handed him 10 meal tickets. Encouraged by this unexpected encounter, Corin continued his rigorous training. Mariette Dunaleff, impressed by his determination, offered him a glass of water and reassured him that he was making progress. Korin, remembering the benefits he had once enjoyed with Park Si-hoo, acknowledged that he now had to rely solely on his efforts. Determined to become the strongest, Korin faced the challenge of understanding his limits. Lacking a strong body, vast magic power, or aura, he resolved to work harder to compensate for these shortcomings. Using various skills and drawing on his 3 years of experience from his previous life, Korin focused on self-improvement. As Marette Dunlef watched him from a distance, she realized that conventional words couldn't capture Korin's true strength. Meanwhile, Korin's training session took an unexpected turn when he fell from the ceiling. Concerned, Marette Dunlef rushed to check on him, realizing that perhaps she had been too excessive in her admiration. The next day, Marette Dunlef, having greeted the juniors, introduced them to the school facilities. However, Korin Locke's focus shifted to strengthening his body, realizing he could no longer rely on the support of others like Park Si-hoo. Later, Korin approached Lark, inviting him to share a meal and discuss grimoires, powerful artifacts capable of granting corresponding magic or traits by simply reading them. Merkaba Academy's library, as vast as the academy itself, held these magical tomes, safeguarding humanity's knowledge for future generations. Lark, a dedicated student, had memorized various spells and stored them in his spellbook. Despite having numerous spells at his disposal, the importance of a grimoire was not lost on him. It was a game-changer, allowing even the most theoretical magician to produce remarkable results. Korin Locke, fueled by a desire to repel evil spirits, persuaded Lark to accompany him into a hidden section of the library. The promise was sealed with a punch to the face, and together, they embarked on a journey to harness the power within the secrets concealed behind the secret door. As Korin Locke ventured further into Merkaba Academy, he found himself entangled in a dual purpose. Not only was he here to aid Lark, but also to complete a special quest that promised a hidden piece he desired. The quest involved capturing evil spirits, with the added challenge of a unique adversary, Sibansha Duke, a spectral figure commanding the South 800 years ago. Most players met their demise as soon as the quest began due to the Duke's overwhelming power. However, Korin Locke, with his unique skills and inability to perceive spirits, managed to endure the attacks. Yet, the quest posed a dilemma: he couldn't see the spirits either. Seeking a solution, Korin Locke proposed to the Duke that he could enter Lark's body instead. In response, the Duke unfolded his tragic story. Sibansha Duke, once a ruler, succumbed to the factors that turned normal humans into demi-humans like vampires or werewolves. As a vampire, he inadvertently killed his servant and, fearing harm to his family, closed down his castle. To avoid further bloodshed, he sealed himself inside a grimoire in the Academy's library. The Duke, now possessing Lark's body, attempted to attack Korin Locke. Recognizing Lark's low physical stats, Korin reluctantly chose him as a companion, a strategic move to defeat the Duke and earn high-grade items. Despite the ethical quandary, Korin engaged the Duke in conversation, sharing stories of the Duke's family and expressing a desire to bring closure to his tortured soul. The Duke, touched by Korin's words, apologized for the attack. Korin, seizing the moment, asked the Duke questions before his ascension. In return, Korin obtained the soul dust of the evil spirit Sibansha Duke and the grimoire containing the Duke's abilities and spells. Among them was the Persistent Warrior's regeneration skill, a powerful ability linked to the Duke's tragic past. Korin's newfound strength surprised even himself. Lark, awakening after the possession, complained of aching jaws. Ignoring Lark's discomfort, Korin rewarded him with a grimoire. It was Korin's way of acknowledging those who work hard and receive their due rewards. Although Korin couldn't see the notifications like a player, he sensed that he had gained 80 points, equivalent to leveling up 16 times. The commandment also awarded him 40 stat points for not turning a blind eye to Lark's misfortune. In the Academy's stamina training room, Marette Dunlef expressed confidence in Korin's ability to catch spirit bodies, despite criticism from some students. Focused on his training, Korin tested his new stats and effortlessly defeated a spirit. Marette Dunlef rewarded him from the bet she won, encouraging him to continue striving. Despite his progress with spearmanship, Korin faced a hurdle with rune magic due to his mana shortage. Determined to overcome this obstacle, he pondered while walking. Suddenly, a voice called out to him, and Corin was startled to find Heavenly Yaksha, Waran, a formidable force in the heroic legend of Ahan, standing before him. Unsettled by her sudden presence, Corin questioned why she was there and tried to ignore her, knowing that Heavenly Yaksha, Waran, was a force he couldn't handle. However, she persisted, questioning if Corin was the owner of the body he inhabited, leaving him perplexed about her knowledge of his possession. After the unexpected encounter with Heavenly Yaksha, Waran, and a brief exchange about ownership of his body, Corin Locke reflected on the contradicting existence of the mysterious figure. Waran, being a living corpse with both human and monster souls, possessed soul eyes capable of perceiving the color of other souls. Corin, uncertain about his own identity, wondered if the memories assimilated from his past life truly belonged to him. The conversation with Waran took an unexpected turn when she accused Corin of being a thief and a robber, asserting that he had no right to the body he inhabited. Corin, unfazed, diverted the conversation by sharing a humorous story about a person named Bruce in his neighborhood. Bruce's peculiar trait of turning into a green giant when angry intrigued Corin. He used this anecdote to emphasize the coexistence of different personalities, whether original or newly formed, within the same body. As the dialogue continued, Corin questioned the essence of coexistence and life itself. Waran, expressing a grim perspective, claimed that for some, being born was a sin. Corin acknowledged her viewpoint and, deciding to end the conversation, assured her that they would meet again. The following day, Corin left the dorms early, driven by a purpose beyond the routine sounds of the weekend. His destination was the mission board, where both small and large commissions offered opportunities to level up in preparation for main quests. However, Corin had a different agenda. He wanted to test something else. At the mission board, Corin noticed Alicia Arden intensely scrutinizing the available missions. Realizing he had little information about Alicia from his past life due to an early encounter in the game, Corin greeted her. Alicia, expressing a need for money, shared her financial struggles, detailing her family's income situation. Corin pointed out a patrol mission as a cost-effective option but declined the invitation to join her, opting for more challenging missions. Corin's goal was to find the elusive butterfly cat and activate the commandment for maximum rewards. Completing simple missions like rescuing a boy, finding a lost ring, and helping a chef refine a recipe earned him points and unexpected rewards. Corin marveled at the unexpected benefits of pursuing his selfish interests. As Corin engaged in various missions, the Heavenly Yaksha, Waran, observed him from a distance. Her gaze hinted at a mysterious past and a connection to the academy. Meanwhile, Corin's focus shifted to the hunting ground test, an intense battle royal where points were earned by stealing others' armbands. With Madame Josephine's space magic facilitating the event, Corin entered the forest, fully aware of the professionals' countless retries in this challenging competition. As the test commenced, Corin strategized to deal with Alicia Arden, the most dangerous contender. Unbeknownst to Alicia, Corin had planted a tracking rune in the honey bomb candy he had offered her earlier. Determined to secure his advantage in the hunting ground, Corin ran like a maniac through the forest, fully aware of the challenges that awaited him, including the unexpected presence of Waran, the formidable Heavenly Yaksha. In the midst of the intense hunting ground test, Alicia Arden found herself relentlessly pursued by a group of men. Displaying her fighting prowess, she easily dispatched many of them. However, the situation took an unexpected turn when Corin Locke intervened to protect her from one of the assailants. Alicia, initially relieved by Corin's presence, was taken aback when he unexpectedly complimented her and attempted to snatch her armband. Feeling betrayed, Alicia questioned Corin's motives, recalling the honey bomb candy he had given her earlier. Corin, despite the apparent betrayal, urged Alicia to give him her armband, claiming it would make her a better person. Alicia, a pure fighting-type second-rank knight, engaged in a fierce battle with Corin, only to realize that his combat skills far surpassed his rank. Corin skillfully deflected Alicia's attacks, showcasing his 3 years of combat experience. Employing an extreme counter, spear intent, and ultimate essence 6 steps, Corin overwhelmed Alicia. However, Alicia, resilient and determined, blocked the attack with her aura and stood up again. Intrigued by Corin's exceptional skills, Alicia pondered his true identity and questioned his rank as a 5th-rank knight. Accepting defeat, Alicia handed her armband to Corin, who promised to use it well. However, their confrontation was interrupted by the sudden appearance of Dron Warsky, wielding a heavy magic sword. Dron demanded Corin put down Alicia's armband and leave, prompting Corin to flee. Alicia, terrified by Dron's intimidating presence, followed Corin, seeking refuge from the menacing opponent. Their escape led them to the cabin where Cranel Luden awaited, adding another layer of complexity to their situation. Corin, now facing threats from both ends, prepared to fight both Dron and Cranel simultaneously. However, he managed to outmaneuver them, ultimately arriving at the cabin with 3 blue armbands, securing his victory. As Corin claimed his reward from the instructor, Alicia reflected on the incredible display of combat skills she witnessed. Corin's strategic thinking, precision, and adaptability left a lasting impression on her. Meanwhile, Cranel and Dron were left astonished at Corin's prowess. The practice training in the hunting ground concluded with Marette Dunlef defeating Yule, the unfortunate participant facing her. With the seniors acting as monsters during the training, the day's events came to a close. Just as the training ended, the heavenly Yakshaw, Waran, arrived and inquired about Marette Dunlef's name. The unexpected question left an air of curiosity and mystery hanging over the conclusion of the training session. As the chaotic events unfolded in the aftermath of the hunting ground practice training, Marette Dunlef, having collapsed from her intense battle against the heavenly Yakshaw, Waran, found herself approached by the enigmatic figure. Marette speculated that the heavenly Yakshaw might be looking for someone specific, but the conversation took an unexpected turn. Marette explained that, based on the regulations, she was designated as the monster for the training and could freely ignore Waran, but the same couldn't be said for Waran. However, the heavenly Yakshaw dismissed Marette as annoying, leaving an air of tension between them. Meanwhile, back at the cabin, Corin Locke was reaping the rewards of his exceptional performance during the training. With 117 points to his name, he inquired about choosing his prize. The instructor, amazed by the high point count, allowed Corin to select his rewards. Corin opted for the shark bear's bile and the mandrake seed, along with a natural plant supplement and earmuffs. Exiting the cabin, Corin marveled at how well things had worked out for him. He noticed Lark and Jaeger finishing their mission and overheard their conversation about training in the stamina room at night. Corin offered his assistance to Carnel as well, who seemed to reject the offer. Corin reminded Carnel to express gratitude when help was offered, drawing from memories of his past life. The day continued with the unexpected results of the training. Corin secured the first place with an outstanding 117 points. A conflict emerged between Marette Dunlef, the second-year ace, and Waran, the first-year ace. The clash left Corin in awe, fearing that Marette might awaken and become an exceedingly powerful boss in the game. However, things took a different turn as Marette, seemingly exhausted, collapsed. The unexpected outcome prompted Madame Josephine's intervention, expressing concern for Mariette's well-being. Corin, feeling a mix of relief and trepidation, realized that there were still 3 weeks left until Mariette's anticipated awakening. Outside the hunting ground, Corin set his sights on a unique encounter. Preparing himself with eye drops, he feigned distress, pretending to lose a precious seed. This act led to a whimsical encounter with a Taoist hermit, reminiscent of an Easter egg from the heroic legend of Arhan. The hermit, impressed by Corin's honesty, rewarded him with 3 seeds, the standard mandrake seed, along with gold and white silver mandrake seeds. Corin rejoiced at obtaining these special seeds, reminiscing about his past life when Park Sihu and himself each consumed one of the seeds. Now, they were all his. As Corin contemplated the upcoming challenges, including Mariette's awakening and the encounter with the murderous vampire John Doe, he devised a plan to save Marette and navigate the complexities of the game. With 3 weeks left until Mariette's awakening, Corin envisioned a strategy involving preparation, faith, and the recruitment of trustworthy allies. His plan included training Alicia, collaborating with the sword control mercenary Dron, befriending the Avalawan Forest's druid, and drawing closer to the golem sorcerer Cranel. Corin believed his plan was foolproof, as long as unexpected variables didn't disrupt his preparations. The impending awakening of Marette Dunlef as a special vampire added a layer of urgency to his mission. In the dimly lit room of Merkaba Academy, Madame Josephine paced restlessly, her thoughts consumed by worry and regret. Waran, her special demi-human ward, had been sent into the forest, a decision that now weighed heavily on her conscience. The academy had become an unsettling place, with mysterious occurrences and a growing sense of unease. Madame Josephine, unable to contain her concern, confronted Warren. "If you seek knowledge, my dear, it can be obtained through private lessons," she insisted, urging Warren to self-reflect for the time being. Meanwhile, Warren, contemplating a daring escape through her window, was interrupted by the unexpected arrival of Corin. Corin, bearing a cake and a cautious demeanor, introduced himself to Warren. He explained that Madame Josephine had sent him, prompting Warren to reveal that the academy's headmistress hadn't visited her in 4 days. Corin, shocked, promised to bring her food and rushed off, only to discover a more disconcerting truth: Madame Josephine had left, leaving Warren, the most dangerous person in the academy, unattended. As Corin began to unravel the mystery, he noticed unusual activities among 2 former guardians, Professor Dana and Professor Fermac Darman. Something abnormal was unfolding, and Corin's suspicions intensified. His attempt to visit Mariette Dunelef, a troubled demi-human, was denied, leading him to bribe a guard named Crone for information. Corin's suspicions proved correct as he stumbled upon Isabelle with a bite on her neck and Mariette missing. The vampire boss had awakened 3 weeks earlier than expected, setting the stage for a challenging confrontation. Corin faced a dilemma, knowing that his actions had inadvertently weakened the team meant to combat Mariette. Desperate to assemble a capable team, Corin recruited allies in the form of Dron War Sky, Yule, Jaeger, and Lark, each contributing unique skills to the cause. With the minimum conditions met, Corin acknowledged the gravity of the situation and recalled information from Park Sihu regarding Mariette's whereabouts, a tunnel in the forest. The team embarked on a perilous journey through the academy's hunting ground, with Yule using her spirit to guide them. However, as monsters converged on them, Corin's strategic leadership emerged, impressing even Dron War Sky. The party realized that Mariette's influence had attracted the monsters, preparing for a fierce battle against an impending threat. As Mariette Dunelef approached, Corin, fueled by determination, activated the 3rd commandment, boosting his stats by 50%. The fate of the world hung in the balance, and Corin saw himself as the unlikely hero, ready to take the first step in saving the world and stopping the impending chaos wrought by Mariette Dunelef. A system notification blazed across the screen, urging the party to rescue Mariette Dunelef. Hero, Corin Locke. Good luck. The urgency of the situation intensified as they observed Mariette Dunelef, the newly born vampire boss, in apparent distress, tears streaming down her face. Dron War Sky, determined to strike first, swung his heavy iron sword at Mariette, only to have it repelled by a formidable barrier. Corin, with a deep understanding of the situation, informed the team that Mariette, being a newly turned vampire, couldn't unleash her full potential yet. Despite her initial vulnerability, Mariette retaliated, launching an attack that Yule intercepted with a protective barrier made of trees. Yule strained under the pressure from the first attack, prompting Corin to encourage him to endure a little longer. He promised to turn the tables in just 5 moves, revealing his strategic mindset. The battle unfolded with a realization that Mariette's boss round consisted of 4 distinct phases. In the first phase, surrounding monsters relentlessly attacked the player's party. Once they triumphed over these foes, the group would transition to the second phase, where Mariette herself emerged. The final showdown, the 4th phase, held the key to unlocking Mariette's ultimate attack pattern. Corin instructed Lark and Yule to retreat after casting their spells. Yule, invoking a powerful spell from an ancient text exclusive to her pureblood druid lineage, summoned a Wicker Man giant willow doll, a formidable force in their fight against Mariette. Corin acknowledged that Yule had cheated by summoning the creature prematurely, providing her with the instructions she would have obtained later in her quest. Jaeger tossed a live owl bear into the Wicker Man's wooden prison, activating the creature to counter Mariette's attacks. Despite the pain Yule experienced, Corin urged her to endure, knowing their fate rested on her ability to maintain the summoned entity. Mariette, realizing the advantage of elemental dynamics, extinguished the flames engulfing the Wicker Man with a giant spear. The structure collapsed, and Corin recognized the battle had taken an unexpected turn, labeled as a special difficulty level. Corin urged Yule to flee as the situation escalated. Jaeger questioned the feasibility of facing Mariette with only the 3 of them. Corin, undeterred, explained that Yule had exhausted her wide-range attacks, signaling their turn to strike. Dron Warsky swung his heavy sword again. Jaeger unleashed a destructive assault, breaking through Mariette's barrier and initiating Phase 3, the Realm of Blood. As the blood orb shattered, a trap was triggered, trapping them in a realm of immense pressure. Corin found himself standing alone, a realization that clearing this phase typically required at least 3 people. Unperturbed, Corin remained resolute, uncaring of the diminishing numbers around him. The battle against Mariette Dunlev had reached a critical juncture, and the fate of the world hung in the balance. The room was steeped in an unusual atmosphere, an eerie calm punctuated by the struggles of a figure now considered livestock. The protagonist, born as a human, experienced a chilling sensation, a cold air that flowed from the tips of their feet up their spine. It was an uncanny feeling, one that contrasted with the burning sensation in their throat. Driven by a primal instinct, the protagonist found themselves compelled to bite the neck of an unfamiliar person. The canines, a natural part of their anatomy, broke the skin and reached the vessels beneath. The person, now perceived as livestock, trembled, either in fear or a futile attempt at resistance. However, the protagonist, detached from the innate human cringe response, found beauty in the painful moans, akin to the melody of a piano. As the act continued, the protagonist's senses heightened, and the repulsive scent of blood overwhelmed them. Isabel's moans and the creaking bed ceased, leaving only the thunderous beating of the protagonist's heart echoing in their ears. It was then that they realized a grave truth: it wasn't livestock they had bitten, it was a crime committed by Mariette Dunlev. Mariette had nearly killed a friend, treating them as mere livestock. The shock of this realization hit the protagonist, who now faced the consequences of their actions. Mariette, burdened by guilt, clutched her stomach and fled, haunted by the understanding that she had unconsciously dehumanized others. A sudden attack by a dog interrupted their thoughts, and Corin swiftly retaliated, discerning weak points and delivering decisive blows. He declared his determination to save Mariette, marking the beginning of the final phase of the confrontation. In the final phase, Mariette targeted one party member, placing them in critical condition. Alone and without assistance, the protagonist faced an impossible situation. Corin, acknowledging the necessity of the bloodsucking, allowed Mariette to feed on him. He endured the process, utilizing his persistent warrior's regeneration skill to recover instantly. Corin recalled Sabantia Duke's ruthless act upon awakening as a vampire. The Duke had killed his servant in a blood-sucking frenzy, an impulse that even a great commander couldn't control. It took a month for Mariette to be captured alive by Park Sihu, wetting her throat with monster blood to curb her thirst. Despite her struggles, she had refrained from killing people. As Mariette fed on Corin, he remembered the teachings of his master in this world. The encounter with the person who once looked down on him and told him he needed protection flashed in his mind. He resolved to follow a different path from Park Sihu, choosing to see Mariette not as a monster but as a child in need of guidance. Mariette, overwhelmed with remorse, stopped feeding and cried, apologizing repeatedly. Despite the gravity of their situation, the protagonist recognized the possibility of a different ending, one that didn't lead to Mariette's demise. As the echoes of their master's teachings resonated in their mind, they vowed to walk a distinct path, diverging from the choices made by others in their tumultuous journey. In the wake of Mariette Dunlev's confinement in Madame Josephine's space prison, a peculiar routine unfolded. Mariette, now relegated to eating steamed potatoes, found solace in the familiarity of her simple meals. However, her solitude was interrupted by the unexpected arrival of Corin Locke. Corin, nonchalant and calm, entered Mariette's cell and advised her to eat slowly, cautioning against the risk of choking. As Mariette relished her potatoes, Corin drew near, prompting an instinctive defensive reaction from Mariette. Her heightened senses detected Corin's presence, and a momentary fear gripped her as she recognized the potential danger of becoming a vampire. In a moment of reflection, Mariette recalled the past encounter with Warren. Corin's influence had prompted a change in Warren, leading her to participate in the hunting ground practice. The memory stirred conflicting emotions within Mariette, a blend of fear and admiration. Corin engaged in a heartfelt conversation with Mariette, reassuring her that she was a good person and expressing his desire for a happy ending. Unexpectedly, Mariette blushed, her emotions betraying her as she acknowledged Corin's kindness. Corin, understanding her need for privacy, took his leave, promising to see her later. Madame Josephine, aware of the temporary isolation, acknowledged the difficulty in returning to normalcy. Corin, however, remained optimistic, believing that the isolation would end soon, especially with Warren attending school without issues. The chairman, curious about the details of the fight, engaged Corin in conversation, testing his views on the situation. Corin, unaware of the chairman's intentions, earnestly shared his perspective, advocating for Mariette's rescue. To Corin's surprise, the chairman revealed that there would be no punishment for Mariette. The isolation was deemed a necessary measure to confirm her stability, and the chairman expressed gratitude for Corin's insights. Despite the initial tension, Corin and the chairman established mutual trust and understanding, reminiscent of their interactions in Corin's past life. In Mariette's cell, time passed slowly. Her thoughts were a tumult of guilt and self-reflection. Vomiting out the cold beast within her had allowed her to rediscover her humanity, and Mariette felt compelled to offer apologies for her monstrous actions. She questioned her right to seek forgiveness, pondering Isabelle's safety and contemplating her own nature as a potential threat to humanity. When Corin visited her, Mariette initially feigned indifference, but beneath the surface, exhaustion weighed heavily on her. She regarded herself as a beast, a monster, and a demon, an enemy of humans who might succumb to her vampire instincts at any moment. However, Corin's sincere words and his previous sacrifice for her during the fight alleviated some of Mariette's burdens. Mariette's life, forever changed by that moment, became a source of lasting memories. She realized that a piece of her existence would be immortalized in her memory the moment Corin threw himself to save her, his genuine goodwill and devotion leaving an indelible mark on her soul. A week passed since the Mariette incident, and the academy slowly resumed its normal rhythm. Students engaged in casual conversations about the recent events, gradually accepting the return of demi-human Warren to the school. The isolation of Mariette Dunlef eventually came to an end. However, when Mariette looked for Isabelle, she was nowhere to be found. Fearing that Isabelle was afraid of her and harbored resentment, Mariette contemplated leaving the academy. The knock on her door disrupted her thoughts, and to her surprise, Isabelle stood there, worried and embracing her tightly. Isabelle revealed that she had witnessed everything, expressing genuine concern and assuring Mariette that she considered her a friend. Overwhelmed with emotion, Mariette thought Isabelle would hate her for what she had done. However, Isabelle's unwavering support and friendship brought Mariette to tears of relief. In the hospital, Isabelle was kept under strict observation, but Corin intervened, helping her escape to reunite with Mariette. The joyous reunion brought tears of joy to Mariette, and amidst the overwhelming emotions, she couldn't help but wonder if she might be falling in love with Corin. As the first part of the story concluded, an unexpected and heartwarming happy ending unfolded, defying the events of the game and Corin's past life. The chaotic and unplanned journey led to a better ending, confirming the beginning of a new world, a world shaped not by a player, but by the unscripted twists of fate. The moment became a testament to the existence of better endings that could emerge even without following a predetermined plan, marking the dawn of a new chapter in their lives. In the midst of Corin Locke's desolate schedule, filled with the repetitive rhythm of classes, meals, and training, a looming scenario approaches, urging him to accelerate his journey toward becoming stronger. The urgency is palpable as he dedicates himself to rigorous training in the academy's practice room. Mariette Dunlef, ever observant and supportive, joins Corin in the training room. Impressed by his dedication, she surprises him with a bounty of potato meals, knowing well of his hunger from the intense training. As Corin devours the potatoes, Mariette catches a glimpse of his blood, prompting her to instinctively avoid the enticing scent. Curiosity gets the better of Corin, leading to a conversation about Mariette's blood-drinking habits. Inadvertently, Mariette lets slip that Corin is yummy, a slip of words that adds an amusing twist to the conversation. Corin, ever the teaser, suggests that Mariette can occasionally drink his blood since he can regenerate it. Mariette, embarrassed by the playful banter, decides to share her blood with Corin in a bottle, emphasizing its magical properties and the benefits revealed by the system. Meanwhile, in a different scene, Alicia Arden, a direct descendant of the renowned Arden swordsmanship family and a second-rank knight, undergoes a transformative period in her life. A chance encounter with a fifth-rank knight during hunting ground practice unveils an unbridgeable gap, motivating Alicia to re-evaluate her approach to swordsmanship. However, Alicia, fundamentally lazy and unambitious despite her exceptional talent, continues her carefree lifestyle, indulging in honey bomb candy and avoiding rigorous sword training. Corin's persistent advice to focus on the basics irritates her, but an enticing mission promising substantial rewards catches her attention. Corin proposes a mission to Alicia with a reward of 2 gold coins, enough to indulge in her favorite honey bombs. Despite her annoyance with Corin, Alicia agrees to join the mission, unaware that Corin has a plan based on his past experiences. During the patrol mission in the city, Alicia swiftly dispatches weak monsters and gains acclaim from the crowd. Memories of her family's perception of her as a weak member resurface, fueling her determination to prove her strength. However, the mission takes an unexpected turn when a nest of monsters, including a powerful Dullahan, appears. Corin faces off against another monster, leaving Alicia vulnerable to the Dullahan's attack. Desperate for help, Alicia cries out, and her plea is answered by an unexpected savior, her older sister, Luma Arden. Luma, the eldest daughter of the Arden family and a renowned swordsman, intervenes with a swift and powerful strike that decapitates the Dullahan. In the midst of relief, Alicia acknowledges her sister's strength and laments her own perceived weaknesses. The encounter with the Dullahan becomes a pivotal moment, a stark reminder of the gap between her and her accomplished sister. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe the channel for more updates.